What's going on, guys? Black Scout Survival Late Night Live. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to talk about some NFAC. It's been a minute. We still have a lot of videos about these guys. But before that, let's talk about some other hot topics. Moderna and Pfizer will investigate whether COVID vaccines can cause long-term health issues. Isn't it reassuring that they're doing it now after the millions of Americans got it, or people around the world got it? Like, don't you think they should have conducted these tests, up front before? I don't know. I wouldn't feel too good if I got the hokey pokey, right about now, especially with these kind of headlines. And then, did you guys see this right here? The U.S. men's soccer team changes crest to LGBTQ colors logo for Qatar World Cup. So the American flag is now the LGBTQ flag. No longer just red stripes. United States redesigns its crest with rainbow colors ahead of World Cup in Qatar. It's now blue USA with the LGBTQ plus color stripes below. So it's not just the standard rainbow flag. It's got the Q plus colors in there as well. Yeah, that's the world we're living in, guys. Wait, they'll probably make the American flag like that soon as well. So let's talk about Grandmaster Jay, NFAC. John Johnson is his name. He went by Grandmaster Jay. He assumed the persona of Grandmaster Jay. He was actually an IT guy from Ohio, former Army soldier. He had gotten into some trouble. He got demoted, promoted back up, National Guard, all that sort of thing. But he started a black militia group, and we had some back and forth, me and Grandmaster Jay, for quite some time. I made a bunch of videos about him. He would talk about me on his morning mentals. He would make videos, mention me, and things like that. There's a few other people he was going back and forth with. It's not just me, but it all started, if you guys remember, in Stone Mountain, Georgia. He went down there, and that was like the first meetup, and had the armed militia movement there, and basically were calling out any white supremacists. I'll show a video clip here of an interview he had done real quick.
Former musician and Army veteran John Grandmaster Jay Johnson.
Is the movement growing?
By leaps and bounds.
We met with him outside of Cincinnati, where he says another new chapter is now in the works.
The NFAC stands for the Not Effing Around Coalition.
What's behind the name?
The NFAC was born out of the last 4 years under the Trump administration. The deterioration of racial relations in this country. It means that you're preparing yourselves to defend yourselves.
While the group's style echoes the Black Panther Party of the 1960s, their goals are distinct, focusing on defense with the ultimate goal of a black ethno-state.
What makes us so different is that our goal is our own government, our own country, a place where we can determine our own future.
Is violence an option to reach your goals?
The United States was built.
I want you to notice they're outside wearing masks. Never forget this.
On violence being an option. Violence should be the last option.
Extremism experts say the group is distinct from far.
Now, one thing I did like he said there, he said that America was founded on violence. So a lot of people forget that, even though I don't agree with a lot of this guy's ideology. Obviously, I do agree with that statement. I also agree with his, First Amendment, Second Amendment rights and things like that, and being armed, obviously. Whether I like your, stance or not, I think all Americans should have the right to bear arms. And, I'm unlike a lot of YouTubers and guys, I'm very pro firearm. I think that anything beyond shall not be infringed is infringement. I think that, felons not being able to own firearms, things like, the Brady Act, all these sort of things, I think those are all infringement on constitutional rights, in my opinion. And yeah, that's my opinion. A lot of people aren't going to agree with me on that, but you know, I don't care. I think everyone should be able to defend themselves. So.
Right militias.
They have not risen to the level of concern of, say, the 3%ers, the Oath Keepers. They have not engaged in violence. In fact, in most of their demonstrations, they have in fact coordinated their activities with police.
When you talk about January 6th, and we saw those rioters storm the Capitol, what do you say to critics who say you're no different from them? They're extremists, you're extremists.
Show me where we have done those things. They've killed people. They've disrespected the government to the point where they have invaded its sacred halls.
Mention is that he just said, like, he wants his own government. You know, they don't respect the government, but then he's sitting here playing into the leftist plot of, you know, oh yeah, the sacred halls, you know, talking about January 6th. I mean, he's just trying to play into that leftist ideology.
Show me where we've done those things, because we have done none of them.
We were allowed rare access to one of their training sites at a secret location in rural Georgia.
We are now driving to the NFAC training facility.
We spoke to one member who chose to go by the code name Shy to protect her anonymity.
This one is the handgun.
Correct, yes.
And then what do you guys do next?
We are going to the area where we practice our primary weapons firing.
Why did you decide to join this movement?
It's for the cause. Black people, we need to learn how to defend ourselves. This is definitely one way to do it.
Do you all, have normal jobs? You work in all different sectors? And
Absolutely. We're business owners, we're doctors, lawyers, we're your everyday person, anywhere from Walmart to the corporate sector.
What are you all training for?
We're training for self-defense.
A response to show they won't be scared or unprotected any longer.
So yeah, you know, that was the interview. I remember when that came out. He was very excited about that. But you know, one thing the lady said then that black people should defend themselves. All people, you know, no matter the color, should know how to defend themselves. I mean, we are Americans. We come from a warrior culture, and you know, I don't disagree with that. And you know, the thing is that like yeah, we're going to get to some of his ideology that I 100% disagree with, hands down. I don't have a problem with the dude making a militia. Don't have a problem with the dude owning firearms. I don't have a dude with the dude having you know, using his First Amendment right to protest. I don't have a problem with these things. But some of the rhetoric he used, the hateful racist rhetoric, I did have a problem with. While that was playing, because I've already seen that video, I saw this comment here, and I'm going to mention some tribe members here in a minute, just some of the tribe real quick. But MB Roachful, maybe. He said, dude pissed off his handlers and they railroaded him. The funny thing that you mentioned that is the fact that he did apparently have handlers. Apparently this was some kind of like glowy government plot, because two of his like main guys, when they, you know, I guess defected, left the NFAC, they contacted me as well as the other couple guys making videos. And I talked to one of them, one of his main guys, and he was talking about that there was a meeting with some white guys. They would give him money, you know, they'd meet at like Chili's, Applebee's and stuff like that, Wendy's, and he would get payments, you know, from these guys, you know, and it was very odd, the guy thought, you know, and he said what he believed that these guys, these white guys who were giving the money were federal agents, you know. And the other thing is, you know, trying to recall back, but, you know, Grandmaster Jay in some of his videos would say things that would, you know, be very weird, you know, as far as things he'd say about who he was funded by. You know, sometimes he'd say he was funded by the Russians or, you know, different things like that. But I definitely do think he went off track. I think he was probably paid. Maybe it was George Soros, federal agents, undercovers, you never know. But what I truly believe is that whatever his intent was, his job he was given, he went off the tracks and they had to reel him in. I think these type of things probably happen a lot with you know, the feds and these sort of things. I just do, because I even said early on that I was like, they're going to get this guy. because one, he had a lot of power. He could get a lot of people together. Like, that's one thing. This dude could get a lot of people with firearms together. I've not seen anybody else do this sort of thing. And I'm not trying to, give this dude accolades or anything, but it's truthful. You haven't seen anybody be able to get that many people together with firearms, right? So anyway, before we go further, I just wanted to comment on that. And let me just holler at a couple tribe members. We got a tribe. We'll talk about that in Barry Goat, Tim Moore. We got issues. Chocolate Thunder Creek Bake Therapy. Good to see you guys here. Buffet Barbie, Sarah Black. We got issues. Good to see all you tribe members here. Sirius, J Pass. Good to see all you guys here. Anyhow, NFAC had a lot of things going on. They had one of the main guys that went by the name Ozone. He shot a police officer in Florida, and this was after Grandmaster Jay had got charged. We'll get to his charge in just a second, but after he got charged, and Ozone shot a police officer, the police officer wound up dying. And he actually fled from Florida up to Georgia to their training site, right? And apparently they were trying to hide him, but someone ratted on him. And he got arrested. And in my opinion, because as we go further in this video, I believe Jay ratted on him to try to get a lesser sentence, which he wound up doing. So in my opinion, that's what I think happened. Obviously, they're not going to put some kind of plea deal out there for the world to see. But I think that's probably what happened. NFAC was also notorious for shooting each other at these protests. So you get a bunch of people together, but they had no idea what they were doing with firearms, right? There was multiple times, I think 3 instances where people have been shot. 3 different events where people have been shot. So from my understanding, how it went is that you would go to, they would put out on social media, Instagram, Facebook, all those sort of things, when the meetings would be, the protests would be. Grandmaster Jay would call, get a permit to have a protest there. All the people go there, they'd have a check-in booth. You show up there, and then so they weren't a real militia, because nobody was, they'd have random people just show up and they get a bracelet, and now you're part of the group. And so as they were waiting in line, people get shot, that because they don't know anything about firearms. So, but yeah, that's some things that happen. So anyway, Jay's 59 years old, right? And he's from Cincinnati, not Ohio. He was sentenced to 86 months in prison this week for his actions during the Kentucky Derby. They called it the NFAC the not effing around, F-U-C-K-ing around coalition. He was definitely F-U-C-K-ing around at the Kentucky Derby, hence why he's in this mess. But he was accused of pointing his rifle at 2 federally deputized officers in downtown Louisville. And the thing is that there were ATF and FBI agents there as well. So yeah, somebody mentioned the bolt close. He did the thing where he slapped the gun, his AR-15 down, sending the bolt home, and said, "See, boom, it'd go off." So we know that doesn't happen because the firing pin. But so he pointed the rifle at 2 task force officers who were on the rooftop. Basically, he shined his light. I think I got a photo of it. I do not. He shined his light on his rifle. And I saw him do this. If you go back and watch some of the old videos that I did, just go watch all these old videos. They're good. They're fun. But he would shine, like I showed, one of them was their training video out in the woods, and he's shining the rifle light, like pointing it at people, like shining the light on people, like while he's talking to them. Incredible stuff, right? So the NFAC and a couple other groups, because they had little fringe groups pop up after this during this time, and they were all conducting a protest at the Kentucky Derby. But it was for Breonna Taylor's death. Back in May, a federal jury convicted Johnson of 1 count of assaulting, resisting, and impeding law enforcement, and 1 count of brandishing a firearm in relation to a crime of violence. 86-month sentence was a little more than the minimum allowed under federal law. He was actually facing up to 27 years, so he got the minimum, just a hair of the minimum, when he was facing 27 years. That's why I believe he is the one who told where Ozone was for the plea deal, right? I mean, this dude was a character. Look at him. I mean, he looks like a supervillain from some kind of like Marvel movie or something. Uh, and he would always wear you see that vest he's got on there. That's like a paintball vest. I'm gonna show you real quick the video footage from the trial and stuff.
Johnson, better known as Grandmaster Jay. In May, a federal jury convicted the leader of the Black Militia group on 2 counts of assaulting a federal task force officer and brandishing a firearm during the Breonna Taylor protest in 2020. Wednesday, Johnson was sentenced to 86 months in prison. The judge dismissed the first count of assaulting a federal task force officer, which would have brought a higher sentence of up to 20 years.
I believe that this sentence is a reflection of the federal judiciary beginning to send a message.
Legal expert Larry Wilder says he believes the sentence for Johnson coincides with federal.
What he's about to say is that the sentence is due to January 6th. I don't believe that. I believe guys in freaking January 6th are going to be in jail longer than Grandmaster Jay here.
Jury convicted the leader of the Black Militia group on 2 counts of assaulting a federal task force officer and brandishing a firearm during the Breonna Taylor protest in 2020. Wednesday, Johnson was sentenced to 86 months in prison. The judge dismissed the first count of assaulting a federal task force officer, which would have brought a higher sentence of up to 20 years.
I believe that this sentence is a reflection of the federal judiciary beginning to send a message.
Legal expert Larry Wilder says he believes the sentence for Johnson coincides with federal judges cracking down after January 6th.
I think it's a kind of don't bring your guns. You know, I truly think that the judges are sentencing people, and the message is don't become violent. Don't be in a place where violence can become it becomes incendiary.
Just moments after Johnson was sentenced, the same protesters returned to the steps with a different message.
A miscarriage of justice in Louisville, the Commonwealth of Kentucky, has taken place. And quite frankly, it's an embarrassment to all of our humanity.
Now, Johnson was facing up to 27 years.
So yeah, he'll have 3 years of supervised release after completing his 7-year sentence. I mean, so dude's going to be well into his 60s by the time he gets out. He spoke last year to Complex, and he said that the NFAC's mission was to establish an infrastructure that can assist in being the framework of community self-policing and protection of our own communities and our race. He's definitely like a sociopath narcissist. He said, we live in a world where racism is appearing to rear its ugly head again the way it did back in the Jim Crow days. We didn't create that. It recreated itself. So it proved to be fertile ground for the creation of the NFAC, the same way it was fertile ground I don't know why I'm saying it that way. Fertile ground in the 60s to create the Black Panthers. So with that, like I said, I think he cut a deal. I don't know how he got out of 20. He got freaking 7 years out of 27. I mean, that's phenomenal. The January 6th folks probably won't even see trial till by the time Grandmaster Jay gets out. I mean, how they're holding these people politically like hostage. But anyway, Grandmaster Jay, the sociopath narcissist, he actually wrote a letter to all hip hop, and I'm going to read it to you real quick. He says, "Children of the Most High Yahweh." Now, what you have to understand is, before I keep going, Grandmaster Jay is a Black Hebrew Israelite, and that is a racist organization. I'm going to talk about it towards the end, but anyway, so that's why he's talking in this manner. Children of the Most High Yahweh, keepers of the knowledge of the past, great civilization that has been and will be again. I bid you peace, unity, and love. The silence that you have been forced to endure by the removal of the voice of facts. So he's saying that now is silenced because he was the voice of facts, the power of feeling, and the mood of morning mentals. Is the testimony of the resilience and strength of you as a united threat to those who could not destroy you or replace you. The potential you possess was awakened by your unification all around the world by the teachings and revelations revealed. The greatest long-term threat to the mental prison you have been kept in for the last 5,000 years is what I became for the reason they imprisoned me, just as I said they would, but not before I planted the seed of an entire generation of new kings, queens, philosophers, warriors, and proclaimers of the truth. Like karma is a bill that must always be paid. These seeds will grow, produce walking, talking fruit that will be knocking down doors 15 to 20 years. So that you hear this dude, like he is a literal sociopath. He's basically saying that he has built an entire generation, and for the next 15 or 20 years, they'll be walking, talking fruit that he has produced, talking about people. He goes on, this is true. My impact on the children is well documented, and I love you all, my little ones. However, today I'm sending this message to all of you to be encouraged. Every great leader, revolutionary, and prophet has sat where I sit now. People fear what they cannot understand, but they fear what they can even more. But everything in the earth's realm is a temporary situation. So dude's saying, just like every great leader, revolutionary, and prophet, so he's saying basically he's that. He goes on and says, even life, so while I'm being kept here in the lion's den, the fiery furnace, the pit of pain, do not fret. Leave the pity party. Do not take up residence in the land of defeat. Instead, prepare your mind and use your third eye to look forward to the day I return. Look forward to the fruit of all lessons and labors of love coming your way. Look forward to the greatest celebration and unity formation the world has ever seen. Look forward to the day Grandmaster Jay returns. Until then, keep me alive in your hearts, minds, memories, and episodes of Facts Over Feeling, Morning Mentals, and something else. Interviews, article, pictures, and personal interactions in person and in spirit. I'm always with you in spirit. Like the song says, someday we'll be together. So keep your feet on the ground and your head to the sky. Love you unconditionally. Shalom. All praises to the Most High, Grandmaster Jay. So yeah, that was his letter, and I just wanted to read it, because it is an absolute absolute nut job. I mean, he thinks he's like freaking Gandhi or something. He thinks he's George Washington. He really does. He's a psychopath. So like I said, I agree with First Amendment, Second Amendment, being in a militia, having firearms. I agree with all those sort of things. But the big thing is he was a racist. He hated white people. And it stems from being a black Hebrew Israelite. And so that's a religion, a cult. It's really a cult. And it was actually founded by former slaves during the late 1800s, who were also Freemasons. The two guys that created the Black Hebrew Israelite movement were William Crowdy and Frank Cherry. They were both Freemasons. And what they believe is, and you've heard this rhetoric from people like Nick Cannon, Kanye West even said it the other day, but they believe black people are the true Jews and that whites are destined to be killed or made slaves for the Hebrew Israelites after the Messiah returns. They also believe that Jesus was a black man. And America and its allies will soon be judged. So they believe these things. Now, if you listen to these teachings and what is being said, and you can see that the persons that crafted this cult knew a little about history, theology, and geography, right? They were uneducated. Whoever made this religion, these two guys that made it, they were uneducated because the things that they put in the religion doesn't make sense if you know geography, history, and theology of the Bible. But understand, during this time they were slaves. Obviously, you're going to probably wish bad things for your oppressors too. So hence why they probably made the religion, because they probably wanted these bad things, right? But again, I think I see more and more. I see a billboard the other day about this Black Hebrew Israelite movement is growing traction. If you are, coming into this religion, you can easily study it and realize it's false, right? If you went to school and you at least went through 5th or 6th grade, you should know that doesn't make sense. So anyway, and they don't believe Jesus Christ is the Son of God. So, which is a huge problem, and obviously Jesus is the Savior, so it just doesn't make sense. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that update because we know we've done a ton of videos about NFAC and Grandmaster Jay in the past. And I said when he got arrested, I said NFAC's over, and all the NFAC guys are still following me and still like trolling the videos, and they're like, NFAC's never over. Yeah, it's dead. It's gone. You ain't heard or seen anything of it. It's vanished, right? Because he was a cult leader, right? Once you cut the head off the snake, it's gone. I knew, like I said in the videos before, it was going to happen, and because dude had power. Let's just be honest. He'd get a large group of people together with firearms. The government don't like that. It wouldn't matter if he had appointed that rifle light or not. They were going to get him for something. Tax evasion. I mean, something was coming, So someone says, is Jesus white? No, Jesus isn't white either. Do you know geography, buddy? Like people, he's not black. You must be saying he's white. No, he's not white either. Anyway, study your geography. Study the Bible. Go look on a map and see what people look like from that area, right? Yeah, olive skin. There we go. But it's funny, these people. Yeah, there we go. Jesus is not a white man. Read the Bible. Like these people that say this, like, oh, you're white. Jesus, no, we read the Bible, where you should too, But anyway, guys, I just want to give you that update. Do me a favor, just go back and watch the old NFAC videos. If you're new to the channel, you came after that era. It was like 2 years ago. It was actually probably one of the funnest times on YouTube, the back and forth between me and Grandmaster Jay. I'm sure the other guys had fun too. It was actually some rivalry in the game, But anyway, do me a favor, comment on the video, man. We have been getting shadow banned like crazy. I mean, there's only 1,000 some odd people watching right now. Usually we have a few thousand. People aren't getting notified. We're getting comments, people saying they're not getting notified until 2 days later, things like that. So please help with the shadow ban. And it's crazy, man. Like they'll allow the guy that was shooting up the subway to make all kinds of racist videos. He wasn't shadow banned, but they'll shadow ban anybody that says anything about Joe Biden, or Democratic Party. You don't want to miss tomorrow's video, though. We're going to be talking about something pretty incriminating. Something I mentioned the other night, but we got some more intel on it, so it's going to be good. Anyhow, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Go join the tribe. I meant to say that too. Go join our tribe. It's popping over there. We got members joining every week. We got state groups broke down all over the place. Pretty heavy in some areas. We need more people in some of the blue areas, obviously. But join up. We'd love to see you over there. Meet like-minded people. Like I said, we schedule meetups in different areas, and get to know like-minded people. Make a network before it's too late. Anyhow, guys, please go comment on the video, like, all that sort of thing. And as always, remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, and stay dangerous. Take care.